リコ先輩。
Yo, what is up guys? Welcome back to a brand new video on Art Online Alicization Lycoris. Today I have the patch notes, or the actual overall information about the patch 1.09 that came out. So this came under my nose. I had no clue this was out. This came out like 3 days ago, and yeah, a lot of great improvements to the game. So the developer, I forget the name of it, but they are doing a splendid job of fixing what they should have fixed day one, if I'm going to be real. And the additional gameplay content that they're adding is what I expected, to be honest. But here we go. Additional contents. This is the first bit. Added finishing arts to Wayfarer Riona. So she has her own unique finish art, just like every other character in the anime has in the game. Next up, we have Raid Dungeon Extreme. So this is a step up from even death game difficulty doing the raids. So if you thought you could do it on hard with like 260 AC, well, step it up, big man, because you're gonna have to get over 300 accuracy to take on the Raid Dungeon Extreme. And the way to unlock Raid Dungeon Extreme is by simply beating a normal Raid Dungeon at the time of this release. And honestly, my overall thoughts on this is the accuracy that they require is kind of outrageous. You need to have a maxed out Abyssal Ring and another maxed out Dexterity, item. And without being said, you need a max dex weapon as well, and it's not easy to get a hold of these things. It's going to take you a while, especially if you're a newer player. I recommend getting a friend and going into the Beast Snare Grotto raid. Prioritize this raid in particular because you get the Heaven Striker bow and the Abyssal Ring. So these are your best options in terms of doing the most damage and progressing through to that main objective. Next up, we have this thing called semi-auto mode. This mode is for players who want to focus on the main story and play the game with simplified combat. So you cannot use super arts in this game mode. It's mainly used for like newer, younger players, I would assume. If you don't want all the combat features, that's okay, but like, really, why? Next up, we have light play mode. This will be unlocked when you start the beginning of chapter 2. In this mode, the player can play through to the start of chapter 2 while cruising through the story. This is for players who have seen the anime or read the books and want to reach the original game content faster. So you can reach these modes through the options menu, obviously, and you can switch them from on or off during gameplay. Light play mode can be selected when starting a new game, and they have added an option to skip battle in the Central Cathedral in chapter 1. Now let's see here. A lot of things revolving the UI and adjustments. Let's see here. Super arts can now be triggered when the player has a fixed amount of arts gauge. I think I read this earlier. It reduces the speed it decreases on the super arts, which is where you can just spam your abilities instead of like using a finish art. Next up, you can switch to finish arts and super arts buttons. So now that means finish arts is what you would say is Y, and super arts would be B, or triangle and circle. Let's see here. Next up, multiple items can now be selected when selling at a shop. So instead of just pesky selling one thing at a time, you can do more. That's good. Frame rate and loading time fixes. So obviously that's still an issue, or was. Hopefully it's completely fixed now. Xbox One got an update and now it can handle at least 50 FPS. So yeah, that's pretty nice. I would assume that that's gonna help a lot. Battle fixes: adjusted the battle difficulty of the Integrity Knights in Chapter 1. Alright. The player will recover HP when succeeding in landing an ally skill. So I don't know what the point of this is. Maybe the chain burst giving you back HP will help you, sustain life in a fight. Who knows? Adjusts the movements when using an ally skill when enemy parts are targeted. Okay. Honestly, I don't have any clue what this is used for, but adjusted the movements when using Renly's certain sword skills. So apparently changed his attack pattern. Alright, adjusted the particle effects when using the sword art skill or sword skill Photon Eraser. If you don't know, that skill is basically useless. I'm not gonna lie. Now this is the major change, my folks. Alright, listen to this. Adjusted balance of certain sword skills, dual wielding sword skill Moment Bite, and bow sword skill Fixed Peer, and then the combat skill At Wit's End. So obviously, if anybody knows what these are, dual wield Moment Bite is what hazards the opponent, and a very circular movement, and Fixed Peer is the broken bow skill that shoots out 2 shots. Obviously, I would assume these are nerfs because they were pretty good. You could do at least 2 million off of the first shot of Fixed Peer, and Moment Bite, all you had to do is wait for your opponent to screw up and then do your finish art. So that's kind of unsettling, especially with a extreme raid dungeon added. They trying to screw us over. At Wit's End, if you don't know what Wit's End is, it's the reason why you went for the Abyssal Ring. It gives you 2 plus 100% risk points, which basically increases your damage by a multiplier of 6, obviously, and it just overall amplified your damage output and made clear times for bosses so much easier. I would assume that's a nerf as well. It was pretty broken. You could do max damage 9,999 on every hit with a certain build, of course. So take that with a grain of salt. It could be a nerf. It could just be a slight adjustment. You never know. Alright, UI route guidance can now be switched to guide the player to the pinned location, main quest, or sub quest. So I don't know. Route guidance will now have different colors based on the selected destination. Pin location equals green, subquest equals yellow, and main quest equals blue. Okay, this is good. So if you're doing a side quest, you won't have the main quest, taking you off the path to what you're trying to do in the game. That is really good. I've gotten lost quite a few times. Multiplayer. Players can now receive multiple cube tickets at once. I guess this is just, snatching the cube tickets once you complete your, missions. That's whatever. Adjusted camera movements during battle. I mean, that's whatever. My joystick's messed up. But that's basically it, guys. That's literally all of it. Patch 1.09 is the name of this. I will leave the link in the description below if you want to check this out for yourself. Honestly, pretty good update. I wish that accuracy would be toned down a little bit. It is kind of absurd, but it is what it is at the end of the day. And let me know how you guys are doing. Are you still having fun with this game after 2 months, basically, or 3 months? I forget. I'm planning on replaying the entire story anyways, so this could be a good change for me. Again, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe down below, and turn on post notifications so you never miss an upload. Peace, guys.